Hi, it's me again with Corel Draw Tips and Tricks, and somebody sent me this file from, I don't really remember right now, Northern Europe, and it's always kind of good to hear from people outside the United States that might need a little help. This will not trace, or at least will not trace. There are professionals that could do this. It will not trace. I've tried 2 or 3 different times to trace it, but it's almost all straight lines. So it's pretty easy to reproduce. So if you will start off with your nudge, if you ever see anything like that move it back. So I just started using lines to draw it. And if we look here, I'm going to make those lines yellow again. And that's what they look like. And I've already kind of finished them. He's going to cut this out. He actually set out a sheet metal. So he's got a laser that will cut metal. But I'm going to do a few steps. So I've got my pen tool like on a yellow, and I'm just going to start drawing straight lines. And then I'm going to connect straight lines. And I'm just going to keep drawing and try to get them more or less to the center and pretty much on top of where they should be. And, you know, try to get the long lines long. Try to start in the next line. Like here, go from there to there, and you might want to even continue that line. And you can always repair it afterwards. So we could take that line and put it to there and make sure this line is kind of in the center of that line. And then this is going to take you some time. I'm not going to say it's going to be fun or easy, but it's doable because most of the lines are straight. I might make 2 videos on this, and you might even make it better than it was originally, you know, like have that just one line and then make these other lines. And so on, and I might make a second video on how to do the eye because everything else is pretty much lines. So let's move this out of the, and see, I saw it jump. Let's nudge it out of the way and we got those lines. So let's make them black so you can see them. And I'm gonna make them a little bit thicker. I think I made these 4. These are 4 point, but I've already changed this. So let's make it like 8 points. Make them a little bit thicker, and that's one thing you've got to judge on how big this thing's going to be, and then and I would do it in sections because if it would almost be overwhelming, and then grab the shape tool and put that to there. And just kind of look at it. And if you did it in sections, you won't be overwhelmed, and you quite possibly be able to see some things you couldn't see. And I could also right now select that line, hold down the shift key and select that line, and then select both these and go up to Windows, Dockers, Join Curves. And then that way that's joined right there. And then the finished product, after you've got them all done, and I've already done the other one, would be to go to Object and convert the outline to an object. And then you can left click, right click, and you'll have transition lines. Now the only thing I failed to do, and let's see if it works now, would be it'll go ahead and weld this, and it did work. So you could weld it after the fact. So all these are going to be cut lines. And then what you'd want to do if you were going to cut it out, you'd want to right click, double click, turn them into a hairline and make them red. So most people use red hairline for cutting. Now the only thing you're going to have to watch is how thick this is. It's a pretty big drawing, but parallel dimension tool, see, that's pretty thin. That's less than 1/8 of an inch. But he'll know more about that, so you might want to start off and make the lines. Well, let's just back up here, get them back to lines. Let's back up one more time till you get your line tool, and let's make them 12 points. You can just type in 12, and then convert them to an object, and then left click, right click, and then weld them again. And then let's go and turn them into a hairline. We can leave them black right now. And now let's zoom in. And I know nothing about it, the lasers that can cut metal. That would be pretty cool. So now it's 0.17. It's, you know, almost halfway between 1/4 of an inch and 1/8 of an inch. So that would probably work. And then just do the whole thing, a little bit at a time. You know, maybe do this part around the eye next. And then when you get to the framework, let's just say this, we've done them all in this line. So once you need to kind of figure out what you're going to do first. And then your framework would be like this. And you need to make sure you encompass all your joints and like this. And let's turn this into a black and make it a hairline. And hopefully it will still weld. I don't know that it will. Sometimes when you've already welded, it won't weld. And it didn't, but you could do back minus front, didn't work, front minus back. There we go, that's what we want. Because you want this to leak into the framework. So if we do this and use the Smart Fill tool to fill this in, there's your parts and your frame. So stay tuned for part 2, and I'll do this attempt to do this eye. Hope that helped a little bit. Thank you for watching.